What's up, Gear Mortals? Trey Xavier here. It has been just over a year since we announced the rigged Gear Mortals contest. We got a ton of entries. You guys are all totally awesome. I thought that every rigged entry was absolute gold. We had the best time going through and watching them. So thank you all for submitting. It was a great time, but we had to pick 5 winners. So without further ado, here are your 5 rigged contest winners in no particular order. Number 1, Carlos Costa. I was in absolute suspense the whole time, trying to follow his whole line of reasoning for why he put the pedal board together a certain way, what everything did, how they were all connected, which pedals controlled other pedals. It was out of control. Very well put together, very well thought out. I was very impressed, Carlos. I think you guys are gonna love Carlos's bass rig as much as I did. Check it out.
Hi Gear Gods and fellow Gear Mortals. I am Carlos, bass player for 11th Dimension, and this is my submission for the Gear Mortals rigged contest. Starting with the basses, this is my main bass. It's a LTD B1006 that I modded. Originally it comes with EMG pickups that I switched for Nordstrom big singles. Instead of a blend knob, I have a rotary switch that gets me bridge, and neck in series, bridge and neck in parallel, or just the neck. Then the push-pull pot that used to be a split coil, now it's an active-passive switcher. And the preamp is still the original EMG 3-band preamp. I also changed the nut for a brass nut to give it a little bit of a shine on the notes. The bass itself, it's a neck-through 35-inch with maple mahogany body, mahogany wings, and flame maple top. And I usually use it in F-sharp standard, so F-sharp, B, E, A, so on, with Diodario flex steel strings. I find them a little bit on the loose side for this tuning, even on a 35-inch, but it works. So from the bass, I go into the Line 6 G30 wireless, then into the MXR bass compressor that I use always on, and then into the aftershock from Source Audio. This pedal I also use always on because I use it to distort some of my signal, but I also use it to split between highs and lows. The highs go into the main loops of this Musicom Lab loop switcher, and in those loops I have the Manta bass filter from Source Audio and the programmable EQ from Source Audio. Those 2 pedals only affect the high signal. The high then go into the B channel of the Microbass 2 from EBS. Now the lows, they go into the secondary loops of the loop switcher, and in those loops I only have the US 600 that is acting as an octave pedal. Then the low end goes into the A channel of the Microbass 2, that's for the clean. And then those 2 channels are blended and sent into the effects loop of the preamp. And in the effects loop, I have the Nemesis delay, followed by the Dimension reverb. This loop switcher sends MIDI messages to the Source Audio Sunblocks hub that change the parameters on the Aftershock, on the Manta, on the Dimension reverb, and on the Nemesis. The same MIDI messages change the presets on the programmable EQ and change the presets on the Reflex. Finally, I have the receiver for the Source Audio hot hand ring that I will show you next. So as I said, I use the Source Audio hot hand ring on stage, and with 11th Dimension I use it solely to control the Manta bass filter to have some like synthy electronic effects during the songs.
Up next is the band Tamerlane, who have one of the most professional and best looking rigs I have ever seen in my entire life. These guys totally have their shit together, and you should all be using them as a reference for how to put together an awesome rig. Check it out.
What's up guys, it's Lance from Tamerlane. Just gonna go over my guitars I use live, my main guitar. Ernie Ball JP7 BFR Cherry Burst. Equips with EMG 5766s, 10 to 68 gauge, drop G sharp, lock trim, but I can unlock it if I want, do some dive bombs. That's pretty much it.
What's going on guys? Brad here, bass player for Tamerlane, and this is the main bass that I use live. This is an Ernie Ball Stingray 5 in white, pretty standard, pretty stock. We have EMG pickups, maple neck, and gold hardware, pretty standard. String wise, we have 135 gauge to about 50. Like to keep them tight, like to keep them nice and thick for the low tuning that we play in. So this is the laptop right up here that we use to run all our backtracks and our samples, and actually lighting, which we program as well. Everything runs from this laptop literally into the X32 unit that we have down below. The X32 is the main mix of our big rig. This is what pretty much powers our full sound within our in-ears and the actual house sound. So when it comes to mixing, the X32 gives us the option to run in-ear units, which we actually use 3 different systems, one for the guitars, one for the drummer, and one for the vocals to pretty much give people that variability in mix. This is our main rig up here. This is Jarvis. This is our central power station. At the top, we have 2 Furman power conditioners, which power the entire rig. We have our 2 vocal wireless systems for our 2 vocalists, Scott and Brian. Right over here, we have our 2 wireless systems for our 2 guitar players, Lance and Matt. These are our 2 Axe-Fx units. This is where we get all the tones for our guitars. We have the Behringer X32, as I spoke about before. Here we have the PV power amp, which powers the bass, which runs directly to the cab, and the QSC, which runs the 2 Axe-Fx units to our onstage cabs as well.
This is my new SJC kit. I just got it recently. It is a dark cherry stain on all the drums and with zebra wood hoops. It's a 12, 24, and a 16 with a 14x8 snare drum, which is also an aluminum snare drum. All the drums are maple with maple rear-rings, and inside of the kick drum I have 2 microphones internally mounted, just to for live. It just makes it a little bit easier to dial in a tone. It's a Beta 91 and a Beta 52, and I play all TRX cymbals all the way around with big first sticks, Evans heads. Right now I have coated heads on them, just to change it up for a little bit, and that's pretty much it. That's my drums.
We hope you guys like our gear. If you guys want to check us out, we are called Tamerlane. We're from Los Banos, California. You can find us on all of our social medias at This Is Tamerlane. Thanks, guys.
The next entry had me on enthusiasm alone. Jeremiah of Undergun Productions sent in a video that had me smiling from the word go, and it was a total hoot from beginning to end. This guy is just a character and a half. I really enjoyed his positive attitude, and it seemed like he was getting a lot done without a huge assortment of gear and not a whole lot of like super high-end stuff, just the basics and a willing attitude to get it done. So check it out.
Hell yeah, and good day everyone. Jeremiah here from Undergun Productions, and this is my video for Gear Gods Gear Mortals video contest. So I'm going to give you all a quick tour of my studio here and show you some of my gear. So this is where I spend many hours every day writing, recording, mixing, mastering, doing vocals, doing voiceover work, basically just having a blast and playing with all my toys. So I'm going to start where I plug in here. Boom, into the DI, because I always love sending a signal over to the computer to use amp sims and blend that with the real thing. So I got a couple wahs, my tuner, the Ibanez Tube Screamer, classic, great for classic rock, some Metal Zone, Eddie Van Halen flanger, and a little noise gate to clean things up into the Marshall JCM 800 lead series, badass amp. And then down here I got my Sun's Line 6, which I use often recording 2 great tones out of that, both clean and heavy. And then up here, I'm going to start with the Dean cheap guitar. I picked this bad boy up for $225, but it kicks ass. Great bang for the buck. Got the Axe from the Axeman indie film, Axeman, the Dark Force Massacre. Moving on over here to the Epiphone Goth. Can't afford a Les Paul, so that bad boy there gets me by. And here I have the favorite of the favorite for me, my ESP LTD loaded with the EMG's 7-string. I've written so many great songs on that guitar. Every time I pick it up, a new riff comes to me. This guitar just gives me riffs. And over here, I got the classic 1973 Telly. That guitar's been in the family for a long time. When I was a kid, I beat the crap out of it. And now I basically just hang it on the wall and use it for recording once in a while. Over here in the corner, I have all my basses because, yes, I record my own bass line, so any bass players out there watching this want to get in on a little Undergun Productions action. We always got lots of songs around here that need a good, competent bass player, and of course, a couple acoustics. And over here, I have my ISO booth, and this is where I do a lot of my vocal work, voiceover work, and also keep my cab parked in here, so it is mic'd up and ready to go at all times. And believe it or not, when I close this door, I can keep the sound contained in there, so where I'm hearing it out here through the studio monitors and not being interfered by what's in there. And that's great, so I don't drive my family crazy and I don't drive the neighbors next door crazy either. So there you go, man. There's all my gear. Quick little overview. Good luck to all you guys. Everybody keep writing great riffs, great music, and make sure we're taking that tone to the next, most gnarliest level we can. Rock on, everyone.
Up next is G Trevino. I can't really put my finger on what it was that I liked about G's video so much, but he seemed to have a really great attitude and enjoyed making music with the gear that he had. I like to think that G sort of represents the typical Gear Gods viewer, just a dude playing in a band, loves his gear, loves playing music, and that's what it's all about. So check it out.
Hey everyone, it's G Trevino, and you're geeking out to Gear Gods. This is my video submission for the Gear Gods Rigged contest that they're currently holding. I'm going to start off by showing you some of the gear that I use here in my own studio for my YouTube videos, and then we're going to take a step over to the practice space where I'm going to show you all the stuff that I have for my band, The Real King. So yeah, let's start out with the guitars. So this is pretty much my #1 guitar. This is a Schecter Hellraiser. It's loaded with the Fishman Fluence Classic humbuckers. That's currently my favorite set of pickups ever. They have just immense clarity, and the 2 voicings is just the whole package. My next guitar is an Epiphone Les Paul Custom. This is probably my #2 guitar. This is also loaded with Fishman Fluence Classic humbuckers. I'm able to do the voice switching with that. And yeah, this one's usually in drop D. Oh, I didn't mention this guitar I have in drop C. This is usually drop A. I have this drop D standard, and then this one I usually keep in drop D. Alright guys, this is the gear that I use here at home when I'm doing all the G Trevino YouTube stuff. I'm going to take you over to the Real King practice space where I play bass, and I'll show you my bass rig over there. So hey guys, what's going on? We're here, different environment. We're here at the Real King practice space. I'm going to show you my bass rig. Let's start with the main bass that I use. This is, I believe it's a 2010 Mexican Fender jazz bass that I got a long time ago. The only modifications I've made to this is I've installed the EMG JX pickups in them, and then I have the Planet Wave self-locking strap and the Line 6 wireless going into it, and then that goes into my bass rig that's hiding way back here. Everything's mounted into that Gator rack case. First thing in line is the Furman power conditioner, and then that goes into the Line 6 XD V75 wireless, and then from there it goes in front of the Line 6 low down HD 400, which I got for a steal for about $150 on reverb.com, like, I don't know, like 3 months ago or whatever. It plays super great and it sounds good. And then from there it goes into the PV Headliner 410 cabinet, which also was pretty inexpensive, and it sounds pretty great. So if you're in the market for a not so expensive bass cabinet, I totally recommend it. I want to give a special thanks to Trey and Alex and everyone else at Gear Gods. That's super cool of you guys to put on a contest like this. If for whatever reason you guys have not heard of Gear Gods, please head over to their channel. They have lots of great content, other gear reviews and other episodes of Rigged. It's lots of great content, so please check them out. And if you guys like my content, please check out my channel, and I'll see y'all in the next video.
And then lastly, we have Evan Strange. I think the thing that I liked about Evan's video so much was that it seemed like he was trying to cram every single piece of gear into the video, and in order to do that, he did this voiceover that was like super fast, and like he'd rehearse these lines, or he was reading off a paper to do the overdub, and that cracked me up. I just thought it was really entertaining to watch. And of course he's from Boston, which is my old stomping grounds, so I love to hear that accent every now and again. It really takes me back. Check it out.
What's up, Gear Mortals? I'm Evan Strange, and you're geeking out to my Gear Gods Gear Mortals Rigged contest entry. So let's get started by going through my guitars. This is my Jackson JS32Q KDA with a quilted maple top and transparent blue. Bought this because I didn't have anything with the maple neck yet and I wanted something built to shred. I replaced the pickups with the DiMarzio X2N in the bridge and a GFS X2N replica in the neck. This can give a great lead tone that cuts right through the mix. I use this for drop C. This is my Epiphone Les Paul Studio in Alpine White. I wanted this one because it's great for playing rhythms and has a nice thick warm tone. I replaced the bridge pickup with a Seymour Duncan JB. I use this for drop D and drop C. This is my Epiphone Emily the Strange SG. This was the first guitar I could ever call mine. Obviously I wanted it because it said Strange on it. This baby's bone stock and I owned it before Lil Wayne ruined it. I use this for standard and drop D. This is my LTD ST203 Road Worn Strat. I wanted to put an EMG in a Strat like Tom Williams with Straight from the Path and Jim Root of Slipknot, so I did. One EMG, one volume knob, killer tone and a simple setup. I use this in drop B and drop A. This is my pedal board. I was a big fan of Incubus when I started playing guitar, so that's mainly the reason I have all of these pedals. I have an Ibanez WD7 Weeping Demon Wah, a Boss TU2 chromatic tuner, a Boss NS2 noise suppressor, a Boss CE5 chorus ensemble, a Boss PH3 phase shifter, a Boss DD6 digital delay, my personal favorite pedal and secret tone weapon, the BBE Sonic Stomp Sonic Maximizer, and my channel selector and effects loop selector from my amplifier. This is a PV Transtube solid state amp my friend gave to me. It's pretty old and some of the controls are a bit scratchy, but you can get some killer thrash metal tones out of it. This is my Egnator tweaker amp. I bought this because I wanted a lunchbox style amp that would provide versatility with a number of switches to get you from scoop to flat, Fender to Vox to Marshall tones, or punchy or deep bass. This amp gets the job done. This is my Crate Blue Voodoo BV120H amp. Look at that glow. Want to see even more glow? Okay. This is the first tube amp I bought. I've replaced the power tubes with JJ6L6 tubes for some warmth and the preamp tubes with Sovtek high gain 12AX7s. Some may call them the blue doo-doo, but I love the way I can get this amp to sound. This is my Epiphone 212 cab. Bought it on Craigslist, don't know the model number, don't know any specs on it, don't really use it that often. This is my PV XXL 412 slant cab. This was the first guitar cab I ever owned. Let me show you how I've customized it. I've added some rope light inside the mesh of the cabinet. It doesn't react to the music, but it gives some personal flavor. This is my Boston Bruins box where I keep picks, strings, hardware, and tools. I'm Evan Strange. Thanks for geeking out to my Gear Gods, Gear Mortals rigged contest entry.
Congratulations to all the winners of the rigged Gear Mortals contest. We will be doing another one pretty soon, and I promise you it's not going to take us this long to announce the winners next time. So, thanks to everyone who submitted. I loved every second of every video. Thanks so much for putting in all that effort into making these videos and submitting them to us. We had a blast. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, mash that subscribe button and smack the bell for more reviews and original content, and I'll see you real soon.